Welcome back. We are here at the National Museum of American Jewish History, and we're continuing our conversations about Jewish stereotypes in film with Made Men. It's about organized crime, but it's made by Jews and it stars Jews. So how do they fare? Well, let's talk about it. I'm your host, and I run a cultural commentary website. This series is part of our larger initiative called Stereotypes in Film. In this series, we take iconic films that have large swaths of a certain group of people in them, analyze how those groups are portrayed in the film, and discuss whether or not they're good or bad representations of their culture or religion. This is obviously a very subjective exercise. If you disagree with anything that I say, feel free to let me know down below. But if you could keep it polite, that would be great. Also, if you're new here, please like and subscribe so you can help us reach a larger audience and get more of these videos out to people. So what's Made Men about? It's about a guy named Donnie who grows up in an Italian-American neighborhood in the Bronx. His father is a low-level mobster, and his uncle is a capo in the Lucasi crime family. Donnie's father is killed in a gang war between the Bonanno and Colombo crime families, and he and his mother moved to Long Island to go live with his uncle and his family after that. But Donnie always feels like an outsider with the other kids in the neighborhood because he is an Italian. So when he goes off to college, he cuts ties with his family. He becomes successful as a businessman, but he's lonely. And one day he gets a call from his cousin that his uncle's been sent to prison for racketeering and that he wants Donnie to come home and take over the family business. Donnie initially resists, but eventually he does return home. And in a flashback, we see how Donnie's father died. The head of the Colombo crime family, Carmine, played by Tony Sirocco, had invited the heads of the 5 families to a summit at his house to end the gang war. But while everyone was there, the FBI raided the house and arrested Carmine and most of the other bosses. The only ones who got away were Donnie's father, Michael, played by Michael Imperioli, and the boss of the Genovese family, Frank, played by Joe But then Michael and Frank got into an argument and Michael ended up getting whacked. Now, after Donnie takes over as the boss of the Lucchese crime family, he gets into a conflict with the acting boss of the Colombo family, Alonzi, played by Paul, and he also deals with various internal problems within his own family, including his brother, who is in prison for robbery, and his sister, who is getting involved with the wrong crowd. The movie follows Donnie as he tries to balance his criminal obligations with his desire for a normal life. This movie is written and directed by Joe DeSantis, who is half Jewish and half Italian. It stars Tim Roth as Donnie, as well as the aforementioned Tony Sirocco, Michael Imperioli, Paul Sorvino, and Joe Other actors of Jewish descent who have significant roles include Stacy Keach, Chaz Palminteri, Frank Vincent, and Carolyn Mon. Of course, the movie is about the Mafia, which is a mostly Italian thing, so there's a lot of Italians in it too. But this is definitely a case where the creators and the leads of the film are the same ethnicity as the group that they're reportraying. So how does it fare? Well, the first thing to note is that the film is not specifically marketed as an Italian-American film. In fact, it doesn't seem to be marketed towards any specific ethnic group at all. It's just a crime drama about the Mafia. However, the marketing materials do draw attention to the fact that it's written and directed by Joe DeSantis, who is best known for writing and directing good. But that's the only real connection that this movie has to Italian-American. Even though this movie is technically a crime drama, it's not really realistic. It's almost a comedy. It's over the top. It's stylized and it's cartoonish. It's similar to Goodfellas in that regard. So if you're looking for a realistic portrayal of the Mafia, this isn't it. But if you're looking for a fun crime drama, then you might enjoy it. The most important thing to keep in mind when watching this movie is that it is obviously a work of fiction. People should not make decisions based on things that they see in movies. They should especially not make decisions based on stereotypes that they see in movies. It is fine to enjoy a movie like this without endorsing everything that it says about Italians or Italian Americans. That being said, I think that this movie is a bit problematic. You've probably already noticed that every single person that I mentioned by name in this summary is male. That's because there are no prominent female characters in this movie. Even though the main character has a sister, she isn't a mobster. She's a normal girl who hangs out with some weird guys and gets pregnant, but she never makes any decisions. She never takes charge of her own life. She's essentially a plot device to further the story of her brother. This kind of thing isn't okay. Women are capable of being mobsters just like men. And if you want proof of that, check out the series Boardwalk Empire. There's an amazing female mobster named Jillian Darmody, played by Gretchen Mol. Or watch the first season of The Sopranos. There's a character in it named Livia Soprano, played by Nancy Marchand, who is arguably the most powerful member of the entire family. And if you need more proof than that, check out the series The Americans. There are 2 female KGB spies in it named Elizabeth and Philip Jennings, played by Kerry Russell and Matthew Rhys, who do incredibly dangerous things for their country. Point being, there's no reason why there couldn't be female members of the Mafia. It's a complete and total stereotype that there aren't any. And stereotypes are harmful. By perpetuating this stereotype, the filmmakers are inadvertently saying that women are too weak or too stupid to be mobsters. I don't think that they meant to send that message, but that's the message that they sent nonetheless. And that's really unfortunate. Another thing that bothers me about this movie is the casual and there is a scene early on in the movie when Donnie is in college and he is hanging out with his friends. They start talking about how there are 3 types of people in the world. There are Goyim Jews and Irish. And then one of Donnie's friends starts talking about how Jews controlled the banks and the media and all of the money in the world. Another character in the movie, Sal, talks about how he hates Jews and how they're all a bunch of cheap bastards. Now, I'm not a fan of these kinds of comments, but it's worth noting that the character of Sal is portrayed as a comic relief. He's a goofy guy who talks in a stereotypical Brooklyn accent, and he's treated as a bit of a dimwit throughout the movie. I mean, there is one scene in the movie where he actually tries to recite the Pledge of Allegiance and he completely botches it. So these kinds of comments coming from him don't really carry much weight. On top of that, Sal is not Jewish. He's Italian American. So this further reinforces the harmful stereotype that Italian Americans hate Jews. Let's just say it. There's no excuse for and I wish that this movie hadn't included these comments. I guess my overall feeling about this movie is that it's harmless, fun. It's not a great movie. It's not a terrible movie. It's just kind of there. It's mediocre. But I don't think that it does any real harm to Italian Americans or Jews. At the end of the day, it's just a silly movie that shouldn't be taken seriously. But what do you think? Am I being too harsh? Not harsh enough? Let me know down below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe so you can help us reach a larger audience and get more of these videos out to people. Until next time, shalom.